At the TT, mate, how many riders and teams and bikes have you got out? Because every time I see a sidecar go by, it says Carl Cox on it, and then a bike goes by, it says the same thing.
Yeah, this year we kind of jacked things up a little bit more. I mean, I've had my own sidecar entry with Tim Reed's Racing last year, and did really well, put it up on the third step to, for the 2 races for last year. I've had my actual own race entry 2 years before that, with Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter. So that was my first entry with the sidecars. And then we came in, we did 2 years, and it came in 11th place over the 2 years from about 40 odd sidecars.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we really did really well into introducing me into the fold of the racing here on the island. But I got a taste for the sidecars more than anything. And then I thought, you know what, with the solos, I don't know if I had to go with this because it's such a one-on-one thing with the rider and the teams, and it is so grassroots but very, you know, heartfelt. With the riding, it's very emotional. You know, it's something of which you can you attach yourself to, and you just feel for everybody that goes out and comes back. And with that, you know, with Michael Dunlop, the first time I got to be able to have association with him was when he came to New Zealand to ride for the cemetery circuit. And then when he was riding there, when he got invited to ride, he was on a Suzuki at the time that someone gave him, but he wasn't very happy with. But he was rolling around and having a good time. But he took an interest in their sidecar. So we put him in a sidecar, and we put Steve Bryan on the back, and he went off. And did a couple of laps on the sidecar. I'm thinking, that Michael Dunlop. Anyway, the news kind of got out. He said, is he going to go sidecar racing in the Isle of Man TT through Carl Cox Motorsport? So you know, he has aspirations of doing that. But then outside of that, you know, he was asking the question about maybe sponsoring him on his quest on the 600s and the super stock. And I just thought that was a great opportunity to see where he was at. And by our entry coming in with him, inspired him in some ways, because, you know, we're poles apart, from where he comes from and what I'm doing. But I appreciate the fact that, you know, he comes from the Dunlop dynasty and he wants to continue that, as you can clearly see. So with Carl Cox Motorsport, he feels that we have a connection based on that we have really great, passions for music, passions for racing, and we've come together as a clash like this. And with that, I really found that with Michael, one of the things about him is that not a lot of people know. So when he goes out, he doesn't speak to anyone when he gets to the bike. But when I first came down to see him go off on the 600s, Super Sports, he did the whole thing. I just flew in. The race was delayed. I hadn't spoken to him. I've been on the phone to him. I never met him properly.
Really?
So when I came down, as he was leaving to go on the bike, he went, "Hey, Carl." And I said, "I want you to do 2 things. Hit it and have a really good time." He goes, "No, don't worry, boss." He went off, came back, won the bloody thing.
Yeah, I remember.
And I came up to the winner's circle and I went, "Oh, that was easy." I'm going to do this every time. And he was so pleased and happy because he really, I think that little thing about us coming together, his little push was about that as well. And you can see on his face that it was great. And then since then, with Connor, now we've got a sticker on his bike. Now we're working with Paget's as well, and Jay Lawrence. Jay Lawrence is our first Carl Cox Motorsport entry with Bill Bates Suzuki and Hawk Racing. It was a great little combination between us all, and Jay done exceptionally well.
Jay's done so well this year.
This year, and for the last 2 years he's been coming with us and just studying the track, talking to people, studying the track, and then he was ready to come in, and which he did last year for the mate. He learnt a lot. You know, six laps round here, he felt it.
Yeah, I spoke to him earlier. He said he was like, last 2 laps, he knew he'd done it.
Yeah, but you see it on his face. We was in as the bikes come back in, and we waited for Jay to come out. You know, we stuck our hands out for to give us a high five, and he came back. He saw me when he went bang like this, and I hit my hand like this. I was like, fuck. I did that. So it's a great story for him. He'll go back, and even if he never does it again, he'll always live with that in his heart.
And you're not just flying in here, doing your thing and flying out. You've been here since 5 days.
Yeah.
And where have you been watching from, or what have you been? So
basically, there's a place that we hired about 2 years ago, just between Crosby and Greba Castle, and right in the middle there. So the actual house is right on the track. So it's kind of nice for me to be able to, get up in the morning, have breakfast, road closes off, and whoosh, and I go past.
No way, best alarm clock ever.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and I normally go there, K-Tree, Black Dub, Quarterbridge. Craig for sure, and they're the kind of places I try and get to, and then I end up in the paddocks and meet everybody. And
Have you been around in the course car?
yeah, we did it twice. So we had one of the drivers, which he was like at the end, and so he said, "I'll tell you what," I said, "We'll let the other 4 go, and I'll hang back a little bit, and then go." And then me and my mate Ian was in the back filming, going, "Ah!" And he was just pinning it everywhere. We're like, "Oh my god!" And when you go down the Bray Hill, and you go in the corner, and you come out, and they go to sleep. Can't believe, even in the course car, it's like, wow.
Well, you've done a bit of car racing, haven't you?
I do.
You did a hill climb at
I do the hill climb at the Leadfoot Festival, and then did that. And then for the last 2 years, I've been going to the Burton Road Challenge, which is fantastic. I have an Indian motorcycle as well. It's called a Roadmaster, and it's like big, comfy bike. You know.
Oh yeah,
you
so
know,
you're out on that.
Yeah, with the music going and everything is. It's lovely. It's a beautiful bike, you know. It's just fantastic. I love cleaning it and getting it all nice and gleamy, but to actually roll with it is just amazing. Yeah, fantastic.
It's a pleasure to see a proper fan, and it's great that you're bringing lads over from New Zealand and getting them road racing around here.
100%. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue with Jay, of course, and his efforts for next year. I'm sure he's pumped to be able to come back
Let's
again.
get Tony over.
Yeah, well, that's another story, you know. I mean, if he wants to do it, I've got no problem with that.
Okay, we're in the bad books now with Tony.
That's right.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.